Well, good afternoon. Today, Windsor-Essex joins the rest of the province in Stage 3. All of Ontario is now in Stage 3. My friends, this is good news. It's proof that we're making progress, but we can't stop. Until every community, every worker, until everyone gets back on their feet. We have to support each other and work together. And when our municipal partners needed our support, we had their backs. We sat down with the Prime Minister and the other premiers. We came together. Leaders from all sides of the table, we put politics aside, and we got a great deal for Ontario. What started out as a $14 billion proposal grew into a $19 billion agreement to support frontline healthcare, families, and communities across the country. That's $7 billion for Ontario. And Ontario led the charge for transit funding. Because we listened to our municipal leaders, we knew that this was a critical issue for each city. We need transit to get our economy going again, to get people back to work. So we worked with our federal partners to secure $2 billion for transit. And I have to thank the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe, and all my fellow premiers for putting Canadians first throughout the negotiations. We have shown what we can accomplish when we stand united as a province and as a country. Our municipal partners have been true allies. As I've said before, throughout these negotiations, all 444 Ontario mayors stood united behind us. We stood together as Team Ontario. We negotiated with one voice. The next 6 to 8 months will be critical as we continue down the path to growth, renewal, and economic recovery. We know our municipalities need certainty and they need flexibility. And I'm excited to announce today that we're providing up to $1.6 billion to municipalities as part of our first round of funding available through the Safe Restart Agreement. That's $695 million to help municipalities respond to local priorities, over $660 million to keep our transit system running, and an additional $212 million through the Social Services Relief Fund to help vulnerable people through food banks and shelters. And we're giving the municipalities the flexibility to use this funding to address their unique pressure. And next week, I look forward to consulting with our municipal partners at AMO Conference, because we're all in this together. And we're working with our partners at all levels, and we're getting Ontario back on track. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to Minister Surma.
Thank you very much, Premier. Ontario's public transit systems are critical to supporting our economy and getting people where they need to go as the province cautiously and gradually reopens. That's why, as a part of the Safe Restart Agreement, the province and the federal government are committing up to $2 billion, delivered in 2 phases, to support Ontario's municipal transit systems and provide immediate relief from the financial pressures created by COVID-19. All across Ontario, transit systems are facing lower ridership and additional costs due to COVID-19. This critical funding will keep municipal transit systems running and will help keep trains, buses, and stations safe so people can feel confident in choosing public transit as they go back to work. Ontario has 110 municipal transit systems, and in the first phase of funding, they will all be receiving a base amount plus an allocation based on ridership. This will ensure transit systems across the province are provided with immediate relief to cover for losses related to the COVID-19 outbreak. In Phase 2, allocations will be provided to municipalities to cover additional costs based on their actual financial pressures. To be considered for Phase 2, municipalities will be required to work with the province to achieve shared transit objectives. This includes exploring ways to create more sustainable, integrated, and safe transit systems as more people get back on transit. We are committed to working with our partners, municipalities, transit systems, and agencies on the path forward in Phase 2 in order to achieve the best possible outcomes as we work together through this difficult time. Here in Toronto, for example, Approximately $400 million in support from the Safe Restart program will be provided in the first phase of funding to ensure the TTC remains a safe and reliable option. That's on top of the $7.4 million that was allocated through the province's transit cleaning program and the $181 million provided through gas tax revenues earlier this year. Our government is committed to supporting municipal transit, and we will continue to champion the needs of our municipal partners. Through this historic agreement, municipalities will have the support and flexibility they need to address budget shortfalls related to COVID-19, help limit the spread of the virus, and chart a path to a strong recovery for their communities and for our province. Thank you. I'll now pass it over to MPP McDonell.
Thank you, Minister. Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here today for this important announcement. As a Parliamentary Assistant for Municipal Affairs, I want to thank the Premier for being a champion for Ontario through the Safe Restart negotiations with the federal government. Because of your tireless advocacy, we are able to secure up to $4 billion in funding for municipalities, including up to $1.39 billion to help them address operating pressures related to COVID-19. Municipalities across the province are facing financial challenges as a result of the outbreak, and we are committed to providing the tools and the resources they need to protect the health and well-being of communities. Strong communities are the foundation of a strong Ontario, and local government is on the front line of providing critical public services. So I am pleased that the federal government has come to the table and partnered with Ontario to provide urgently needed funding for communities across the province. So in September, $695 million will flow to all 444 Ontario municipalities on a per-household basis. And later this year, a further $695 million will be available to those who need additional support to address financial pressures to make sure that our municipal partners can continue delivering the crucial services that people rely on every day. Our additional investment of $212 million in the Social Services Relief Fund will also help protect vulnerable populations, including people experiencing homelessness. This brings our total investment providing service managers and Indigenous program administrators to $510 million since the pandemic began. We're also helping municipalities recover from the impacts of the outbreak through the COVID-19 Economic Recovery Act, our government's plan to get Ontario back on track. Changes in the Act, combined with the funding announcements today, will help our municipal partners emerge stronger than ever and ready to lead Ontario's economic recovery. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the phone line for questions. First question.
First question comes from Cynthia Milliken from City News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hello, Premier. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
Listen, what was your first reaction when you heard that the budget deficit was almost doubling to $38.5 billion? And how are you going to tackle that? I mean, you were the Premier who was going to slay the deficit. When COVID is behind us, what are you going to have to do to get back to starting even to balance the books? Are you looking at tax increases? Are you looking at major cuts? What is your sense of all of this right now?
Well, when I wasn't surprised because I was part of the process with the Minister of Finance and the President of the Treasury, and I kept my promise to the people of Ontario. When this first started, Cynthia, I said, you know, I'm not going to spare a penny, and I've proved it. And we're going to get the economy back going and getting everyone back on their feet. Right now, Cynthia, there's so many people hurting out there. Families are hurting, and people and companies are dropping like flies right now. And I just have to protect them, get the economy back on its feet, and just keep going. But my number one concern is protecting the people of Ontario and small business owners that are just struggling like I've never seen. And when I get out around the province, I talk to them. And if you want to get into the numbers, I can hand it over to the Minister of Finance, and I will actually hand it over to the Minister of Finance, and he can talk about more of the numbers. Thank you.
Thanks, Premier, and thanks, Cynthia. Obviously, governments can't and shouldn't spend at these levels forever, but right now we are in the middle of both a health crisis and an economic crisis. So the package that we delivered today raises the support that the Government of Ontario is providing to $30 billion. That's money that will support healthcare, that's money that will support communities, and money that will support jobs. We will, of course, at some point, not just as a province, but as a country, need to look at what we need to do to get the fiscal house of government back in order. But I can tell you right now, I've heard the same thing that the Premier's heard as I've been traveling around the province. People are hurting. People want to know and need to know that their government's there to support us. The Premier said that we will make sure that the resources are there, the supports are there for our healthcare workers, for everyone, and that is what today's fiscal update did. It made sure that it demonstrated that with the prudence we've shown, we're going to be able to have the resources if there's a second wave or if there are more significant impacts on the economy.
Follow-up?
Thank you. My follow-up is for the Premier. Premier, I'm going to switch gears to education for a minute. That's really top of mind for most parents. Would you consider phasing in, a gradual phase-in of the return to school? Annie Kidder from People for Education, other experts are recommending that you start with the younger grades first and then gradually build from there. Denmark did that. They had its youngest students a month later, followed by high school students. BC is postponing its return to school with a phase-in. Would you consider a phase-in? Do you think that's a good idea? Would it give parents more peace of mind?
Well, I have an opportunity. It's funny you mentioned that, Cynthia, because I had a good conversation with an MPP that suggested that too, to phase it in similar to the opening that we did, the reopening of the economy. But we have to be flexible. We have to be able to sit down and listen to everyone, and that's what we're doing. And I'll definitely mention, I'd be surprised if the minister hasn't heard this already, but I know he'll be coming out the next day or so discussing the plans. But we have to be flexible when it comes to education and protecting the kids. I spent probably close to an hour yesterday consulting with Dr. Smith, the CEO of UHN, largest research hospital in the country. I'm spending time with all the experts, listening to them. They're the experts. I'm not when it comes to healthcare, and finding ways that we can always improve. But I go back to Cynthia. We have the best plan in the country. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. I just want to continue to listen, be flexible and adaptable as we move forward.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Deanna Sumanek-Johnson from CBC. Please go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello, Premier. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Our first question has to do with on July 30th, you announced Ontario's back-to-school plan that had quite a comprehensive hiring plan that had to do with more than 1,000 staff altogether. That's between school nurses, custodians, education workers, extra teachers. Can you provide an update on the number of people who have been hired so far in the province and how much money has already been given to school boards in order to properly hire these people?
Well, first of all, let's go back to the nurses. I had a really great conversation with Dr. Williams, our Chief Medical Officer, this morning, along with the Deputy Minister and the Cabinet, President of the Cabinet. And we discussed that, and we have a call out right now for nurses. We want to make sure we fulfill the 500 positions without draining from the system, and that's so important. Public health has a certain amount of nurses, but I guess the direction we were saying, let's get them in the classrooms as soon as possible, and even if it takes a couple extra weeks or a few weeks, as long as the 500 nurses are coming. We put a fund together of over $30 million for hiring more teachers, $50 million for custodians. So it's a total of $80 million. We put $40 million into cleaning buses, $25 million into cleaning supplies. We have the lowest per classroom, per pupil in the entire country. And we're just going to continue working at the process and always improving it. I've never believed in just saying, okay, that's it, here it's done. There's so many people with great ideas, And I really want to continue listening to all the people and the doctors.
Follow up.
We have a follow-up question about school ventilation. It's become a hot topic. Just
Yes.
today, parents and teachers protested your plan to put kids back to classrooms in the fall. They're calling for millions of dollars immediately to update and improve these classrooms, particularly when it comes to ventilation. Many rooms have windows that are sealed to allow for air conditioning, or windows that only open a few inches for safety reasons, which both lead to more recirculated air in the classroom, which is a condition that scientists now say contributes to increased risk of COVID transmission. What will you do to address those specific concerns?
Yeah, the Minister of Education will be coming out in the next very short while for an announcement. But again, it goes back to listening. We are listening. We're listening to everyone from the health experts to the teachers' unions, to the frontline teachers when I'm out there listening to them. And for the teachers' union, you know, I've been up here through this pandemic just praising the teachers, and I'll continue to praise them. We have some of the best teachers in the entire world. And as for the teachers' unions, my message to you is we want to work with you. We want to sit down and listen. We've had over 120 meetings, senior staff with staff from the unions. And I look at it this way to the teachers' unions. You know, everyone's put their political differences aside. I'm working with a federal Liberal government. I think the world of the Deputy Prime Minister, and a phenomenal Prime Minister. He's doing a great job dealing with all the premiers from different political stripes, no matter if it's Premier Horgan that represents the NDP or other regions that have Liberal ministry. I guess my point is we're working with municipalities that are totally different political stripes. If I can work and everyone can work together in the whole country, and we've faced so many problems with this pandemic, why can't we work with a teachers union? I want to work with a teachers union. I think the world of the teachers, but just to constantly, you know, go out there and they're fighting, we can't get things done. Parents, I can tell you, the teachers union, parents don't want us to be going back and forth. I want to work with you. I want to make sure we have the safest environment possible. That's what I'm asking for the teachers union cooperation. And I differentiate. The teachers are doing great, and we'll talk to the teachers union. But if we can get along with everyone else in the country, why can't the teachers union get along with us? I don't understand it. I just don't. But we're going to continue working, continue collaborating with them. And it's not about anyone else, folks. It's about keeping our teachers safe and our students safe, making sure the parents are comfortable with bringing their kids back.
Next question.
Next question comes from Sabrina Nanji from Queen's Park Today. Please go ahead.
Hi, Premier.
How you doing?
Thanks for taking our question.
Yeah.
I'm well. I hope you're keeping well, too.
Absolutely.
I just want to needle you on this deficit a little bit more.
Sure.
Can you, at this point, rule out any future program cuts or, tax increases to make up some of the shortfall?
No, I just can't predict the future. Our main goal is to make sure that we help these families and individuals and small business owners try to get back on their feet when they're struggling to pay for their mortgage. A lot of people are losing their house, they're losing their businesses, they can't pay their rent. So we've put a lot of parameters within the money that we've spent, and what we're doing, and I'll let the minister follow up right after this. We're actually showing the people of Ontario exactly dollar for dollar where the money is going, and so we're held accountable, and that's number one priority. No matter what government's in place, you need to be held accountable, no matter if it's a municipal or provincial. But we will make sure that the people of Ontario know every single dollar and where it's going. Once we get the economy going again and get revenues back up as we did in the previous year, we created more revenues. That's what we're going to do. I just don't believe in raising taxes. We can stir the economy and get things back on their feet. But I'm going to pass it over to the Minister of Finance. Thank you.
Thanks, Premier. That's correct. We have committed to every quarter updating and being transparent with Ontarians. I like to reference sometimes that the previous government missed or was late for 8 of their last 10 or 13 quarterly updates, but we do that regularly because we think people do need to know where the dollars are spent. Some of these expenditures obviously are not ones that will be ongoing. One great example is personal protective equipment. In the quarterly statement I released today, we noticed that there were $610 million of expenditures. That's obviously related to the pandemic. I am quite certain by the time we get to the end of the year, there might even be more money spent on that because we're going to do what it takes to protect our frontline healthcare workers. But that's an example of the kind of expenditure that one wouldn't expect to continue. And when you look across the breadth of the expansion of the spending that we outlined today, over $13 billion, much of it is in response to a very specific health issue, the health crisis we're facing, and the economic crisis we're facing. So, of course, as the Premier said, our objective is to get the economy back on track. That best way that can happen is to make sure that we manage the COVID crisis. The fact that 14.5 million Ontarians have been doing everything it takes to suppress the virus so that we now are down below 100 cases yet again today, that's the best thing we can do to help the economy, because those positive health numbers mean that our businesses can open up. That means people can go back to work. That means families will be able to afford their rent for their homes, and then that means that the finances of the province will improve. So good health comes equal a better economic outcome, and that's the focus we have today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I guess if Finance Minister wants to weigh in on my next question, and the Premier as well, I understand there's no long-term projections in the update today, but is it fair to say that your plans to balance the budget by 2023 have been blown out the water at this point?
Well, hopefully, we're going to try to stay on track, but yes, it is. I'm going to be very frank. There's a whole different situation 6 months ago compared to now, but we're going to continue being very fiscally conservative, responsible, and I think through technology and other aspects of driving efficiencies, because no matter if it's in the private sector or the public sector, people have found ways to do business differently. And if we don't do business differently and deliver services differently, but better, that doesn't mean reduce them, but come up with better ways of doing it, we're gonna fall behind the rest of the world. I think this was a wake-up call for every private sector company in the public sector. And there's so many holes in the ship, and I saw them firsthand. I remember when we first were on the hunt for procurement and on the masks, and I said we need to change the procurement system. It's a broken system, but it's about acknowledging there's a problem, telling the people about the problem, and then telling them how you're going to fix it, and then show results. And I think when it came to procurement and the PPE, I think the companies have shown results, how resilient they are. But I'll pass it over to the Minister of Finance. Thank you.
Thank you. So yes, we were on track to balancing the budget in 2023. When we came out on March 25th, and I like to remind people we were the first government in Canada to come out and to change course to make sure that we put our initial program in place, $17 billion, expanded to $30 billion today to support the province's fight against COVID-19. We indicated at that point that obviously that's a very dramatic change of course. It was what was called for. By November 15th, as part of the transparency I spoke about, we'll have a budget. That budget will have a multi-year perspective, and obviously it's something that we'll be looking to then and in the future. But right now the priority is on making sure the resources are in place, making sure we can have the health resources in place, if there are flare-ups, that we can respond to them effectively, and that we can support communities and jobs.
Last question.
Last question comes from Colin DeMello from CTV News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Colin.
Hi there. Good afternoon, Premier. This is obviously a record-breaking deficit. Your government was elected on bringing the books kind of back to balance. I'm just wondering, do you think that you need maybe a fresh mandate from voters to spend this much, something before 2022?
Well, when we first got elected, our mandate was to straighten out the financial situation in the province, and we did. But our mandate never expected a worldwide pandemic that the likes of which this world has never seen before, and put us so far behind the 8 ball per se. But I feel that we have a very fiscal, prudent plan moving forward. We have a great finance minister, a great president of the Treasury, And it's about being held accountable and showing people where we're spending the money, and a good chunk of the money, Colin, is going to healthcare. And as the minister said, without people having their health, we can't get going on the economy. We can't get people on transit. So we're pouring money into health and making sure that we have reserves ready for a second wave. God forbid that ever happens. But we'll make sure we're transparent with every penny that we spend to the publics.
Follow up?
Thank you. So that sounds like there won't be an early election call. And just on another topic on education, I just wanted to clarify what you were saying today. So you're saying that you're listening to the concerns from parents and educators, et cetera, and that the minister will be making an announcement soon. I just wanted to clarify, I don't want you to scoop the announcement that the minister is going to make, but are you saying that there are going to be changes to the back-to-school plan, whether it's extra funding or the plan itself? Are we expecting some significant changes here to the plan?
No, there's not going to be any changes. We always look at improvements and just quality of the room that the kids go into. I can't let his announcement go out the window, so I'm going to stop there. But it's going to be a great announcement. It's going to be a positive announcement. It's going to be great for the teachers and the students. So I'll hold off until he makes that announcement. But it's a real positive one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.